this Libra season, with this focus on our relationships, there is going to be a lot of focus on forgiveness. Hi friends, welcome back to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and if you're new here, I am a mystical relationship coach, and I empower witches, bitches, and dudes to complete themselves in order to have healthier soulmate relationships and more purpose-filled lives. And today we are here to talk about Libra season. Libra season will be taking place between September 22nd and October 22nd, 23rd, depending on where you are in the world. And Libra season will be a much welcome change after the very structured, task-oriented energy of Virgo season. And the one thing to be aware of is that during this Libra season, we will be experiencing Mercury in retrograde in Libra. We're experiencing our Mercury retrogrades in the air signs this year. So it will have us kind of in our heads about things, but it will be things that we need to think about. And for Libra, it will be about our relationships. And so be prepared for a little bit of the stirring of the pot in your relationships. So if there's things that aren't being said or any issues that are being ignored, this Mercury retrograde in Libra could easily bring those up. And Mercury is the planet of communication, so when it's retrograde, there does tend to be some miscommunications happening. And so make sure that you're really being open and honest with those that are closest to you. That's really important. And to double check communications, in the sense of making sure people understand what you mean when you speak to them, when you are communicating with them. So if you feel like there's all of a sudden some tension in your relationship because communication isn't working so well, pause, breathe, don't react. Don't just fly off the handle and be like, well, how could you think that I think that? It's a good time to say, well, wait, I need you to make sure that you're hearing me correctly. Well, wait, can you repeat back to me what you just heard? Because I want to make sure that I'm communicating clearly to you, and I want to make sure that we're on the same page and that you understand what I'm saying to you. So there could be a lot of that stuff coming up for Libra season. So Mercury will be entering retrograde on the 26th, 27th of September, and we've already been in the shadow since the 6th, since the last new moon in Virgo. And then it will go direct October 18th. After November 3rd, we'll be out of the shadow. So a lot of the energy of Libra season will be a focus on our relationships, and very much so it should be focusing on nurturing the relationships that are most important to you. In Virgo season, you should have gotten some grounding, and you should have been able to kind of prioritize yourself and your world a little better. And so hopefully you've kind of realized, maybe there are certain people in your life that you just kind of have drifted apart from each other, and that's okay. And it's just time to focus on the people who want to be in your life, not necessarily the ones who make you kind of feel like a second thought, or the ones that have just decided they don't want to be around you at all. This is definitely a time to review, are we in healthy relationship with ourselves and with each other? And you don't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you. So definitely focus on being with the people that want to be with you, and the people that fill you up with love and light and energy. And we already had some of that with this Pisces full moon. This Pisces full moon right at the end of Virgo season on the 20th, on September 20th, really helped kind of usher in this feeling, this focus on needing to make sure that you are doing things with people or doing activities with yourself that re-energize you, that fill you up with energy, that ignite you, that are the things that remind you of how beautiful life is, and how and why you came to Earth and chose to be human. And that's really going to carry into Libra season. So Libra season for me, I always think of like pink. That's why I'm like wearing my pinks today. I did my more pinky makeup. I have more pinky nails. Like, I love color association with the energies of the seasons. Stone association. I'll probably be wearing my rose quartzes and my pink rhododendrite. I think that's how you say rhododendrite. It's just, a lot of that is because Libra, like Pisces, is the other sign that I feel like really looks at life through rose-colored glasses. You know, there's this, they say that Aquarius is the most evolved air sign, and that Aquarius is usually good about getting in touch with their emotions. I feel like Aquarius is actually better at not letting negative things affect them, and Libra is actually a little bit more on the positive side. They are represented by the scales, so, and they are the only archetype that is not a living thing, which is interesting. And so I have met certain Libras that over the years that are just like, oh, we're boring, or oh, you know, there's just like nothing exciting about us, or they're like, you know, they feel like they have this reputation of being like cold, or too logical, and I just don't find that to be true. All the Libras in my life are some of the most loving people that I've known, and Libra definitely like has a reputation of can be like maybe a little more flighty, or a little bit of an airhead. All air signs kind of have that quality every now and then, especially Gemini and Libra, but Libra is the most forgiving sign I found, like almost to a fault. I feel like I see some of these like loving Libras that are just like such gems of people, and they like don't value themselves enough. They so easily push themselves aside, and that they easily get taken advantage of by those people around them who know that they'll just like say yes and do these things, and that you can just step on them and they'll like eventually take you back. So if you have Libras in your lives, like, don't do that. Show them the same courtesy of forgiveness, because I feel like some Libras aren't, what's the word I'm looking for? Libra energy can be not as stable. Like, they can appear to not maybe be as like stable as like an earth sign, but I feel like we should be returning this like courtesy that they give all of us of like acceptance and forgiveness. So whoever the Libras are in your life, like, just try to focus on their good qualities and forgive them when they're, you know, when you're maybe feeling like they're not tapping into their good qualities. Like, we need to hold more space for our Libras, because Libra holds so much space for us without even realizing it. And the energy of them is very diplomatic. They want things to be fair. They're really good at seeing both sides of the situation. Empowered Libras tend to be really strong in themselves, and just kind of like when they see that things aren't going to serve them, or they see that things don't align with them, they're like, don't care, just moving on. And I feel like that really carries into Aquarius, where Aquarians really quickly off the bat are just like, if it's not working for me, like, forget you, I'm not even dealing with it. It takes Libras a little bit longer to be in that strength, but man, once you see them really step into their power, it's like such a beautiful thing. So hug your Libras. Tell them how much you love them. Tell them how beautiful they are, because we need them. We really do. And it makes me so sad when I've met Libras in the past. They're like, I'm a Libra, it's boring. Like, no, it's not. It's not. It's just, in society at large, in this world, we so easily write off kindness for weakness, and that they are some of the kindest, most accepting people and most forgiving. So they're here to teach us something. So Libra is represented by Justice in the tarot in the major arcana, and as you can see, Justice is pretty perfect for Libra. We were talking about them being very diplomatic and being able to see both sides of the story, and we have the scales represented here, and then we have the sword representing air. And as you can see, like, I feel like this is a good reminder of like what Libra can be when they're in their full power and strength, and I hope that you got some of that infused into you in Virgo season. This is, all of these seasons have really been leading up to us being in our power and being our unapologetic selves, and now it's time to like really love that. And I think, like, notice that there's like the crown. I just kind of noticed that there's also like the shroud here and the pillars, and that is very reflective of the High Priestess. So even though air signs tend to be very cerebral, remember that we all have intuition, and it's just about how we tap into that differently, and just seeing the signs of when things like feel good or when things feel icky. And so it's the scales. It's like, well, what do I want to give my time and attention to? Like, how is it really making me feel? This Libra season, with this focus on our relationships, there is going to be a lot of focus on forgiveness. The forgiveness that we offer to each other is not always for the other person. Sometimes we have to forgive people for ourselves and for our own peace of mind. Because sometimes the people that we feel like betray us or hurt us, they don't always deserve our energy and our time of like going to them and saying, hey, I really forgive you for doing this thing, especially if they're not like coming to you and being like, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Sometimes we have to forgive people without even getting any sort of acknowledgement or apology from that person. When I have to forgive people for myself and I don't have a way of telling them specifically, and forgiveness work takes a long time. Sometimes you can try to forgive people for years, and it just, and sometimes even when you do forgiveness work for those people, it doesn't, sometimes the hurt can be so deep that it's hard to let go. So for yourself, just start practicing this. Don't expect it to happen right away, but a good practice to implement when you're doing forgiveness work is letter writing that you don't send. So I've written a lot of letters to a lot of people that I don't send. A lot of time I burn them in full moon rituals, to just like let it go into the universe, send them, blessings. It's just about turning around the energy so that we're not focusing on this like revenge or ill will or like wanting them to hurt the way that we hurt. It's so easy to do that, and that just brings you into your lower vibrations, and we're better than that. You're better than that. You wouldn't be here if you weren't trying to live a higher vibration life. And I'm trying to live a higher vibration life all the time, but it's a practice. It is not something that you just like reach a higher vibration. You're just like, I'm up here all the time and nothing else bothers me. No, because we're still human. We came here to have human experiences, and human experiences come with the pain and the shadow, and it shows, and we have to experience that so that we can find our light and find the beauty in life in general. So if you have any more questions about forgiveness work or how to do that, please reach out to me. I'm really excited for Libra season. I really was excited for the Pisces full moon, because this really speaks to like my calling in life and how I just really want to help us all be in better relationships with each other in the world. And it really starts with having better relationships with ourselves. So if you don't know how to start forgiving other people, maybe write a letter to yourself and forgive yourself about whatever mistakes you might have made in the past, things that you might have treated yourself wrong. There's just, it really starts with you. And so I really implore you to do some sort of forgiveness work during Libra season, whether it's for yourself or for others, or maybe you need to actually speak forgiveness to your partner or your parent or your child or your friend, you know. So there should be lots of opportunities for this, but make sure you're also doing your best to discern where, like, why, like, your motives also behind it. Why do you want to forgive them? Does this person even deserve any of my energy if they are coming to me saying, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I miss you, I want to be back in your life? It's like, well, we got to recognize where am I now? Like, I appreciate it. I let's squash it. But a lot of the time, things change because they're supposed to. Things change because we can't go backwards. And it's really nice to have some nostalgia and some good feelings about things, but we also have to remember our boundaries and remember why certain people just aren't in our lives anymore. And that's okay. And we just want to wish them well and wish them well on their path, because we're all on our own paths too. It's really about focusing on your own path and what you need to heal and to forgive and to live your best life, and how to protect yourself and how to tap into the joy and abundance that is all around you. So I really am sending you so many happy, loving blessings for Libra season. I think it's going to be a really great one. The first day of Libra season is also the autumn equinox, so we're moving into fall here in the northern hemisphere. So I'm really excited for some different energy. It was, you know, it's been an intense couple years. It was an intense summer, and so just give yourself some time and some space. Hold space for yourself, and don't push yourself too far, okay? There's plenty of time for that. This is about being a little gentler and a little more loving with you. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get into your taroscopes. Hi, Aries. So glad you're here. And let's see what Libra season has in store for you. You know, your full moon is during Libra season. It will be near the end of Libra season, but this is a great time for you to start really thinking about manifesting and letting some old shit go. Oh, interesting. First up, excuse me, is the Magician in reverse. So Aries, this is interesting because I don't usually see you as one to like question your power and your innate magic in life. And so I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the first thing that this feels like is that you're questioning your power and your abilities and your magic. Because you have so many abilities to make so many things happen, and I'm surprised because I love my Aries, but I do get like low-key jealous, and I become like an internal hater a little bit. I gotta catch myself because I see some of those great Aries out there that I love, and they're just like doing all these great things all the time. I'm just like, I want to do all these great things all the time too. I'm that great. I'm great as Aries. So I can't think of what to say right off the bat to make you realize that like you are powerful in magic. Just the fact that the Magician's coming up is like, hi, hello, you can do all the things. It does feel like there maybe have been some things that you've gone through. I mean, there had to have been. We don't question our innate abilities unless something has happened that's affected us from the outside that's like made us think that. And it does almost feel like there might be even a little like imposter syndrome happening right now. Maybe somebody's made you question that. And if you do feel like you're getting like a lot of like haters from the outside, it might be a good time for this Libra season to like retract just a little bit. I don't think you guys are usually used to always retracting from things, especially that you love, or from being seen, and it just feels like a good time to maybe just take a step back to get just reconnected with yourself again, because after that is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So obviously there's something going on here where there's been like an uneven exchange of things. Like it feels like you've been putting out your awesomeness and you haven't been receiving the same sort of awesomeness in return, and that just won't do. It just won't do. And for Libra season, it really is about like loving yourself and the relationship with yourself and how that affects your relationship with others. And I think I'm hoping that some Virgo season, if you haven't watched your Virgo season Taroscope, definitely go do that, because Virgo season really was helping us establish like these boundaries to protect ourselves so that it's okay, that you're safe to really love and appreciate yourself. And there's something going on for you, Aries, about needing to like hold yourself a little higher. It's almost like putting yourself a little bit on a pedestal. Like, here's some permission to put yourself on a pedestal. I think that you are aware of your power a lot of the time, and so sometimes you can probably make yourself a little smaller, feeling like you're needing to be humble. And this is like putting yourself on a pedestal in an internal way so that you know when certain people come to you, or when certain people expect your energy or want something from you, you know whether it's actually worth your time and energy or not. Okay? It just really feels like you might just be, it's almost like you're, I heard the phrase hemorrhaging energy, as in like you're just got, maybe almost like a little too used to like everybody wanting something from you, because I think that in the beginning it probably felt really good for you, felt good for your ego, felt good for your soul, and that's okay. We need both our ego and our soul to survive on Earth. So it just is kind of like you were getting some really good feedback, like people were receiving you really well. It made you feel good to feel needed by a lot of people, by people that you love. And now it just feels like you might be a little drained. And this, for Libra season, it's going to be a good time for you to take a break. I mean, you guys are such like go-getters and task-oriented people, and you like to be out and about and seen, and it just feels like your batteries are drained, and it's time to really recharge the batteries. And it's not a time for new things to be started. It's not quite time for new projects or new ideas to take place. I am feeling like, because I see a lot of Aries have a lot of different, if you're an Aries that has a lot of different skills and interests, it can be really easy for you to, like, once you get one project done, you're like, okay, what am I going to learn next? And I did this thing, so I want to do this thing next. Like, there really is something about, like, taking a break. Like, taking a break. And it's kind of cool. There's, like, definitely, like, a color theme going on here. See that, how, like, we've started here, and the bright yellow is being carried over, but see how even like the shroud is getting like a little dimmer here, and like the background's getting a little dimmer, but there's still these like little bits of light here. It's like they're giving you permission to not shine as brightly, and it's not like they're telling you to be small. It's not shining as brightly to protect yourself for a little while and to recharge your batteries. I can't express that enough, that's really what this is about, is recharging your batteries, protecting yourself. You might have to cut a couple people off. And then there's also this piece of revisiting some projects or tasks or ideas that you already had in the past, and reevaluating those or getting reconnected to them. Also, it feels like they're just like, hey man, you've been doing so much, you do enough, you have enough. Like, let's just kind of like look at what you have before you're like, what's next? What's going on next? And so let's take a little peek into the future here, or just like what else could be going on. And we have the Moon in reverse, the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and the Two of Wands. So it really does feel like you will get an opportunity again. Like the fact that this card's coming out at the end and we're talking about you being so extroverted, and this is giving you a chance to like be a little bit more introverted. Like there will be another chance for you to re-enter the world, but it's like time for you to kind of reevaluate. This is literally your only upright card too. So it does feel like there's some really big internal stuff that needs to be happening, especially with like the Magician and the Moon coming up in reverse. This is all about like your internal shadow, your internal emotions, embracing both sides of you, and just giving yourself space and time, and it's like holding yourself, holding space for yourself, to not always like, I think too, Aries can kind of get caught up in like perfectionism and wanting everybody to like see them in a certain way. And maybe there's been a couple things that have been happening that you're just like, oh, people aren't really seeing me the way that I thought that they were, or that I want them to. And so it's okay to take a little step back. It's interesting too that like right under the Six of Pentacles in reverse is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So there's something like, it does, again, this like feeling of like going backwards of your values in the physical, and what you need to do to reevaluate how you're interacting with your physical world, how you're interacting in your physical day-to-day. And again, there's something about like, if you haven't watched your Virgo season Taroscope, I would definitely go back and do that, because there is this like, there is still like some Virgo season vibes here, and it feels like that this self-love piece of Libra season is really carrying over from those lessons for you in Virgo season of boundaries and your rituals and your habits and your patterns, and looking at that and seeing what's really serving you and what's not serving you. There's just like some deep reflection that needs to be happening, because whatever is happening, it is kind of creating this like scarcity mindset where you're thinking that you don't have enough or you're not doing enough. Oh man, that really just like landed right in my soul for you, is that like you're doing enough, Aries. And I can see that this situation would make you worry that if you take a step back or you rest, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough again. Like now I'm not doing enough. You're doing enough. The rest, the step back, the getting really reconnected with who you are in your soul, and recognizing that if there are certain people around you that don't like that and aren't receptive to that, that's their problem. And that's why I was surprised that Magician in reverse was the first card, because like usually Aries doesn't really care about what other people think about them. You know that that's their problem. But maybe there was like somebody that was close to you, and you were really surprised that all of a sudden they weren't okay with what was going on. And that just might be something that's happening internally for them, It's something that's happening for them. And this really just feels like Spirit and your guides want you to like make it more about you for a little while, and in a very like protective way. It's very much like, it feels like they're like, even all your spirit guides are just like trying to close in around you and like, hey, let's just like sit here and just be, and just like hug and love ourselves. And like, I mean, Libra season is going to be all about love and our relationship with ourselves. And so there's like some serious, it's not even just like regular self-care. It's like self-care on like the deepest level possible. I just heard too that if you're somebody who's been like thinking about seeking out a therapist or a counselor or like a coach or something, that this is definitely the time to do that. It might just be time that like you need some extra support from somebody who is just there to hold space for you. And it's hard for like our friends and family to do that sometimes for us, because we're biased. Your friends and family are biased. We can't help but be biased to the people that we love, and sometimes you just need like a third non-biased party outside of yourself to give you some reflections. There's some reflections that really need to happen here. And with your full moon coming up too, there's really, this could be a really powerful turning point for you, where it's like once you're through this and you're like stepping out in the world again, because look, they're like red shroud, and it's getting like deeper. Like the color of the red is, I thought it was like, okay, it's getting kind of muddled here because this was in reverse, but it's actually getting deeper. This is about getting in touch with deeper parts of yourself on a spiritual and emotional level, and protecting that. That they really want me to stress that a lot to you too. It's about protecting the best parts of you also, because you're worthy of protection. And it really, I think Libra season is going to show us all who's actually worthy of our time and energy also, and how important that is. Okay? I believe in you. I think you're going to do great. If you heed the advice, if you take a little bit more time, say no a little bit more, don't schedule so much for Libra season. And if you like Halloween, that's Scorpio season, so you have plenty of time. So like, hey, like go look through all your old costumes and see like if you can put something together with what you already have. There's just this piece about like reflecting back into what you already have, reflecting back into you, not a time to start new things, new projects just yet. So I'm going to pull, I got you a postcard from Spirit by Collette Baron-Reid, and the back says, live your dreams, which I think is perfect for you. Dearest you, over here there is no mystery for us to unravel, as we know intimately how connected we all are, how the web of creation works, and how spirit is in every aspect of life, from the invisible to the visible. But it's important for humans to comprehend the complexities of how things actually work, because the most important threads in the tapestry don't make sense in the dimension you live in. That said, can you feel the importance of these currents of energies that bring events together in miraculous ways? You can't understand with your mind, but you can know with your heart and soul. Trust that even though you don't know the how, the what, or the why, we do. Surrender to the mystery and have faith that the unseen world is watching you with loving eyes as spirit weaves your life's mysterious and beautiful tapestry in glorious technicolor. Loving you so much as always. So again, you don't have to do as much as you think you do. And I think I'm just now remembering too, the last couple seasons for Aries has been this energy of stop forcing it so much. Sometimes you need to let things go, let things happen naturally. You guys are so used to doing and making and achieving that they're really trying to get you to balance that out with some just being and allowing and not so much doing. Because you don't need to do so much. You don't need to prove who you are to anybody but yourself. And you are perfect just the way you are. So I wish you so much love and healing for Libra season, and let me know what's resonating with you, and let me know if I can hold space and support you. I would love to do that. And I will see you for Scorpio season. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate all of your support. I'm sending you so much love. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. Please hit that notification bell. Share with a friend. Go follow things at Meryl's Mystic on pretty much all platforms. And join me for my lives on Facebook and Instagram. My lives for October will be the 1st, the 15th, and then I will be doing a live for Halloween Samhain on the 31st. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
begun.